Hi listeners, we're glad you're back. Today it is January 20, 2021 and it's time for another podcast episode. As a part of our podcast series, we decided to do a literature review and delve deeper on one of the stories from the Pillow Book, which is The Cat Who Lives in the Palace written by Sei Shonagon. This is a Japanese literature with autobiography as its genre, revolving around the author's missings in her life as a court lady. I am Aster Abregana here in GNED Cavite, Polo Tala and Charmaine Silva speaking from Dasmariñas, and Alex Suarez speaking from Indang Cavite. Are you all ready to know our thoughts on this literary piece? Because if you are, we are too. So how does this piece go, Polo?
Thanks for that intro, Aster. Well, this story is about a certain happening in a Japanese palace. The cat beloved by the emperor, Lady Miyobu, got terrified of the dog Okinamaro, which caused a small chaos in the palace. This resulted for Okinamaro to be banished to the dog island. However, days after, the dog came back, got flogged and was believed to be dead. But that same evening, a wretched dog who looks like him walked in, but he doesn't respond to the name Okinamaro, causing people to think that it isn't him. The next morning, however, the dog responded with tears after hearing his name, making people realize that it is indeed Okinamaro. They cannot believe that he still survived, and so he was given an imperial pardon and returned to his former happy state.
Did you all catch that short summary? Thank you, Polo, for sharing that. Now, I'm going to give a critical analysis on this story for our listeners to also ponder on. So, the author's purpose is to write for herself, a personal work about what she sees or thinks in her daily life, which she was able to do in a poetic way, making the story an interesting work of literature. The setting, being in a palace, is very fitting for its autobiography genre because Shonagon works in the same palace, the setting of the story. There is also a lot of character development in this literature, starting from the dog itself, an ecstatic one who turned wretched and loathsome, who was then brought back to its former state. The emperor also developed as he changed his mind at the end and accepted Okinamaro again. The characters act and speak in a natural way as well, making the story believable as a real autobiography. The plot was well structured with proper exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. Moreover, the events aren't predictable because to start with, who would believe that a dog would still survive after being beaten by two strong men, right? Other than that, the central idea of the story, I think, is the dog's perseverance to come back to his home regardless of his sufferings, as well as the idea that people are capable of changing decisions. The story also has an unexpected ending because after reading about his sufferings, it was not expected that he would still come back to his happy state, but he still did. Lastly, the story did not have any literary devices, being true to its character of simplicity, just like other Japanese literature.
What a great analysis, Alex. With that being said, what do you think about the story, Maine? Do you think it was able to showcase the themes of early Japanese literatures?
In general, we love the simplicity of this story and the fact that you can write literature that isn't as complex as usual ones while still being able to get people's interest just by the way you write it or format it. The essence of nature, simplicity, and discipline, the three major themes of Japanese literature, is definitely captured in this specific piece.
Right. Now, would you recommend other people to read this piece?
We would like to recommend for you all to read this story and maybe create your own if you feel like doing so. And that's it for today. For other literature reviews and contents, our podcast series is here for you. Thank you for listening and see you next week.